How we doing today, guys? This is part 1 of the shotguns post-season of the Worthy. I've uploaded this today to explain some concepts that I know I'm going to get into in tomorrow's video when I recommend the best shotgun in the new season. As I was doing all these shotgun tests for the new video, it hit me that the TWAB post had 3 bullet points in it, 2 of which were really in-depth. And one thing that's really important to me in all of my uploads is that I explain exactly what's going on and why to my audience. That I didn't want to come out tomorrow and post this 20-minute video. So today we are breaking down those points in the TWAB that relate to direct changes that are happening after the DLC. In particular, the impact of the range stat on a shotgun to its accuracy cone, and how that's going to switch over to being an archetype-based concept, and then talk about how important ADSing your shotgun is today versus what it's going to be tomorrow. If you want to understand what the concepts I'm talking about in that video are, you need to watch this first.
So let's quit wasting time and get right into it, shall we?
All right, let's go back to what started this video. On February 20th, the TWAB, which is This Week at Bungie, a post that they throw up every single Thursday, talked about the changes that shotguns would be undergoing in the new season. Number 1, target acquisition for non-slug shotguns has been adjusted to no longer account for precision locations. Basically what they're saying is, in the past, if you were shooting your shotgun at somebody, the aim assist in this game typically likes to help you out with headshots. What they're suggesting is that if half your pellets were within this invisible window around the head, the aim assist of the game would actually bring those pellets towards the head. Now, you'd think that that's a good thing because now some of your pellets are going to do extra damage, right? But what they're saying is that if you have a head this big, when the body is this big, and some of those pellets start to go upwards towards the head, some of them might hit the head and do more damage, but a lot more will miss, and the overall damage will end up being lower. I personally don't remember this ever being an issue, but hey, I'm taking their word for it. Number 2, cone angle is now adjusted on a per sub archetype and is no longer adjusted by the range stat. So what the hell does this mean?
That's why we opened your video, dipshit!
I'm gonna take a moment to explain to you what cone angle is now, and then we'll come right back to this. First off, I need to give full credit to a gentleman by the name of Mercules. This is a diagram that he drew up that talks about his assumptions on how the accuracy and aim assist cones work in Destiny. I definitely believe he's right. I have a few theories of my own on how some things might differ, but at the end of the day, the man's a genius, and I have a whole video that's going to talk about a lot of what this diagram means. But for today, I just want to show you one thing. This little diagram is what represents what can happen to a bullet shot from your gun. All right, this is called the accuracy cone, and this is called the aim assist cone. The accuracy cone represents where your bullet could go. That's right, if you shoot a bullet, it does not have to go dead straight. Yes, the first bullet that you shoot from a gun is basically dead accurate, so this cone is almost like a straight line. But as you shoot your gun more, your bullet can actually go anywhere within this accuracy cone. This ties a lot to the term bloom in many FPS gaming nowadays.
Bloom is awesome, dude. Bloom might be my favorite thing about this game, dude.
But all I'm trying to get you to realize is that this triangle represents where bullets could go. So it could veer off to the left, veer off to the right, yada, yada, yada. Now, you might also be thinking, this is absurd. If there's an enemy, there's no way my bullet is going that far off, like way to the right. Recognize the fact that I've zoomed in on this so much. Like, if this is my target and it's that big relative to the cone, it doesn't really matter if it veers off to here or here. It's just so you can understand what's happening here. Think of the shotgun cone as the same way. Currently, all the pellet spread should fit within this cone. This is my assumption. I'm not a Bungie employee. I'm just trying to illustrate this to you so you have an understanding. The aim assist cone is what helps us. So let's say, just for a second, I'm going to draw a smaller target. Let's say a target was right here. Well, the bullet might only be going off to the right in our accuracy cone here. So you'd think, well, that's going to miss. But we have this beautiful thing called aim assist that will actually help our bullet hit our target if it's outside of the accuracy cone. The thing about these accuracy cones is that extending range helps you. And there are some theories around how your accuracy cone is extended. Like, for example, is it extended this way? Is it extended this way? So now it looks like this. right? And again, I have an entire video coming out on how I interpret the way these things work in Destiny, heavily based on the help from Mercules, everything he's always talked about in the past, etc. But for now, everyone has a pretty firm assumption that range narrows your cone, okay? So let's just pretend it does this for a sec. I'm not going to talk about how I drew this extending in that direction. I'm just talking about the fact that it narrows it. So now my shotgun spread is tighter, right? My enemies here, some of my pellets might have missed on either side, but in this case, most of them might hit. Therefore, adding range to your shotgun helped you, okay? That's the concept. Now let's go back to that screenshot super quick. They talk about how the cone angle is no longer affected by the range stat. When I first read this, I thought, what the heck does this mean? So what they're saying is basically the old cone angle may have been like this, which meant your pellets could go anywhere in that cone. And earlier, before the season, adding range to your gun would make this cone smaller. So it might do something like this, which, as explained in that diagram, could have been by pushing that diameter out or just narrowing it, whatever. But all that means is basically adding range would result in a tighter spread, which meant in theory you could one-hit kill from further. So now they're saying, guess what, Lumi? You don't get to do this anymore. Now we're forcing it to be on a per sub-archetype basis. Does this mean that the Mindbenders is going to narrow the cone this much and the Dust Rock is going to narrow it this much? Who knows, right? Well, that's why you're watching this. So I just want you to understand what we're talking about here. All right, last but not least was another confusing one.
This will be quick, I swear to God.
Aiming down sights no longer adjusts the effective range. Effective range is typically referred to as the range in game, like the distance at which you can kill someone, not necessarily your range stat. I'm going to show you what all the pellet spreads would do pre and post patch so you can get a good visual representation of what they're talking about here. First, I'm going to just show you how I determine the size of the pellet spread. I had my friend Lovely stand up against his wall. I pulled out Darcy and went to 8 meters, which is the pre-patch one-hit kill distance. Once I was ready to go, I would take a bunch of shots up against his wall, record the footage, circle the pellet spread, grab a median, move on. Here's an example. I draw a circle around the pellet spread. I understand that's not absolutely perfect, but that's why I would do it 3 or 4 times. I then take every single circle with a transparent background. I overlay them on top of each other, grab the median for one final circle. Is 3 or 4 enough of a sample size? I'll let you decide that, but I'm showing you this just so I can have you on the same page with all of the concepts that I'm talking about. Everybody likes grid paper, right? Each circle gets a color, overlay them on top of each other, slap on a circle to the best of my ability over the average, clean it up, and bam, we've got our one circle. Next up, I do the exact same process with a higher range Dust Rock Blues. So that first one was a 70 range Dust Rock Blues. Now I do it with a 96 range Dust Rock Blues. There they are side by side. Let me make it a bit easier for you. I'll color it red, put them on top of each other. Pre-patch, this is what adding range would do to your shotgun. The black circle is minimum range. The red circle is maximum range. You can see right there, the pellet spread would get slightly tighter if you added enough range to your gun. Now remember, we're talking a ton of range for what appears in this picture to be a good chunk of difference. But now let me show you the actual size of the bullet. Okay, so this gives you a bit more of a scale, right? You know when you shoot the wall, how the black bullet mark is always in the center and then it kind of chips away a piece of the wall around it? That's what the green and blue are. You can see here, the difference in average pellet spread diameter is definitely different, but it's so minor that it doesn't even cover the span of a bullet hole. So for that reason, my statement is that adding range tightened the cone pre-patch. Yes. Did it tighten it so much that you absolutely needed it? Maybe it didn't, but at the end of the day, what was the better alternative for shotguns? Well, nothing, so range is the go-to. What about the second benefit? Damage drop-off. Well, from the incredible content creator Fallout Plays, he posted a video a year ago talking about how this benefit was also pretty minor. Then it got compressed even more with a future patch. So, is the final conclusion that range didn't matter at all on shotguns? No. Definitely not. These two things, although minor, do stack. And everybody knows the snowball effect. One little bit at a time, and suddenly things can make a difference. Now let's move on to ADS. I did the exact same test with ADSing now. If you remember back to that video, I did not ADS my shotgun. My second set of tests were doing the exact same thing, but with my gun ADS. Then I would un-ADS to make sure my FOV is the same at the 8 meters for my screenshot, measure the circle, overlay them. Here's the results. You can see right here, the non-ADS circles are on the left and the ADS circles are on the right. Look at what ADS does. If you compare the two black circles, it's very obvious that it gets smaller. But then in addition to that, the high range ADS gets even smaller than that because of what we just talked about. So ADSing your gun was huge. If you had a high range gun and you were fully ADSing compared to a low range gun that wasn't ADSing, you could increase the effective range of your gun significantly. Now there's a bonus feature to ADSing on top of this: damage drop off. Take a look at this video. I lined up at 11 meters. I didn't want to go into one hit kill distance because then he would die in both cases. At 11 meters, I can keep him alive and show you guys the damage difference. So without ADSing the shotgun, I was only doing between 8 and 9 damage. Now, of course, Destiny always rounds these numbers, but for the sake of right now, 8 to 9 damage. Now I ADS the shotgun, and you'll notice that not only did I hit more pellets because tighter cone, it also did way more damage. It went from 8 to 13 and 9 to 14. So ADSing your shotgun pre-patch made a world of a difference. To put this into context and something practical for you, pre-patch, you could kill a Guardian at 7 meters 100% of the time if you ADS'd. Without ADSing, depending on the gun, it was less than half the time. In summary, we talked about the TWAB and the direct impacts to shotguns pre and post patch. We talked about how currently the range of a shotgun impacts its accuracy cone as well as damage drop off, albeit a tiny amount. How the Season of the Worthy is apparently switching this concept from being range-based to being archetype-based. And by archetype, we mean aggressive frame, precision frame, rapid frame, lightweight, etc. Then we talked about how ADSing your shotgun right now, pre-Season of the Worthy, has a massive impact on your ability to kill an opponent at a far distance, because not only does it tighten your cone, it also maintains higher damage per pellet. So tomorrow's video, we'll quickly look at how these two concepts changed, and then of course we'll show all the testing I did to determine which shotgun is best and what the heck the one-hit kill range is. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful. If you liked it, please let me know in the comments, or drop a like, hit subscribe. Those types of things can really help a channel grow, and it would mean a lot to me. I appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you tomorrow.
Peace!